Welcome. You've got emo stuff. Saturdays on Planet Radio
106.7
with Hunter deBlanc.
Planet Radio 106.7, welcome back to Saturdays. I'm Hunter deBlanc, playing all your favorite emo and pop punk stuff Saturday nights right here, 7 p.m. Central Time. And once again, SoWhat Music Fest in Dallas next weekend with bands like The Used, Pierce the Veil, Neck Deep, Don Bronco, We the Kings, Head Automatica, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, The Starting Line, Hellogoodbye, and tons more. And speaking of SoWhat Music Fest, my guest this week is the founder of Third String Productions and Flip a Switch Music Group, and now independent record label Third String Records, with over 17 years in the music industry and now partnerships with Emo Nite and Furnace Fest. The brainchild behind SoWhat Music Fest himself, Mike Ziemer.
Howdy.
Howdy doody. A true Texas greeting right there.
I never know what to say when someone does an intro like that. I'm like, damn, I feel super important and cool. You said everything.
Yeah, man. I'm your hype man. I'm everyone's hype man on this show. Well, Mike, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So next weekend, we have SoWhat Music Fest. And for our listeners who may not be familiar, can you tell us about this festival and how it got started?
So I started putting on concerts in March of 2004, which was right around South by Southwest. And by our 3-year anniversary show, our graphic designer was like, man, you should just call this South by SoWhat, because you're getting all the bands, and South by Southwest is not all ages friendly. So especially when you have like A Day to Remember and bands like that coming in like MySpace days where, you know, most people, the average age at a show was like 15 to 16, you can't go to South by Southwest. There was like 1 or 2 events for all ages, and the line was like a mile long. It was like Alternative Press and Artery Foundation were the only ones doing it. So we started calling the festival South by SoWhat, and we would basically take every metal, pop punk, hardcore band that was routing through South by Southwest and then put them on our festival. And eventually we became our own thing, and bands stopped going down to South by Southwest. It just wasn't really like worth going down there for the industry aspect of it for these types of bands. So we became our own thing. We changed our name to SoWhat Music Festival. We did a couple fall versions. We did a version in Houston. Last year we were Memorial Day weekend, and now we're in June on the weekend that used to be Warped Tour in Dallas at the venue that Warped Tour used to be at. So kind of nostalgic there for a lot of people. This is our 15th year doing it, and my favorite year by far already.
It's definitely filling that gap that Warped Tour has left in everyone's hearts, and there couldn't be a better location to do it than the Fair Park grounds in Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have indoor, outdoor options. So 2 of our stages will be inside and air conditioned. All of the band merch is inside and air conditioned. There's a food court that's inside and air conditioned. And then you have your hot and heavy stage, which is more of like your up and coming newer artists. And then your main stage, both outside. But there's enough flow through and like overlap and things like that to where you can, you know, go inside, cool off, all that, but then you get that old feeling of Warped Tour where you're melting in a parking lot during Pierce the Veil and The Used.
And drinking your Monster Tour waters as well.
And all the free water stations that we have to keep you hydrated.
Well, that's beautiful to hear. That and the air conditioning, man. I'm sold on those 2 aspects of it alone.
Yeah.
So you got your start in the music industry actually reviewing albums in order to get free tickets to watch some of the bands that you love. Are there any bands on the bill this year that back when you were doing that 17 years ago, however long it was, that if you could see yourself working with them now, it would absolutely blow your mind?
I mean, for me, probably the biggest one is The Starting Line. I've wanted to book The Starting Line since I first started. Obviously, they took a hiatus, and then they were really picky about what events they were doing. We were almost involved in the event when they came to Dallas 5-6 years ago, but we didn't get that one. So like, this is my first time actually working with them. I've been friends with their manager, Randy, for a million years through Under Oath. And
good old Randy Nichols, yeah.
He's great. And so when I was like, hey, unfortunately, Seosin has to pull off of our festival. What is The Starting Line up to? And he's like, absolutely, let's do this. So another one is Head Automatica. We booked Glassjaw like 10 or 11 years ago at the same venue. And I remember having some upset conversations with him about the way the event went and like his opinions on city-run venues and things like that.
Daryl? You're talking about Daryl?
He was a really cool guy. It just made me feel like a lot better, and like was talking about how well run the festival was and like how good a time they had, and like, don't worry about it, just, you know, keep going. And like, it's cool, especially then. I mean, I was in like my mid-20s, to have somebody that I've always looked up to kind of giving me that advice and like sitting there to have that conversation, because you see a lot of the times like an event doesn't go exactly as planned and fans get online and they're like, F that promoter, F that venue.
It's always the promoter that gets thrown under the bus.
It's out of your control, but like there were just some things that were kind kind of weird about that event, and it was our first time using the venue. We've obviously like smoothed out a lot of things over the years, but him kind of just telling me like, keep going, man, like, you know, and telling me not to be afraid to stand up for myself sometimes against security companies or just different people involved in events, that at that point I was just like, yes ma'am, yes sir, like not really pushing back on things. So that was a meaningful conversation, and that was really exciting. I mean, the Used is another one, but like we have booked them before. Of course, the one time I talked to Bert for an extended period of time, we just discussed aliens. So that was exciting.
And Mike, are there any up and coming acts on this year's bill that you heavily implore our listeners to go check out?
I mean, there's a lot. Like that's kind of one of our main goals, is to find these artists early and give them the platform. I would say if you're camped out at the main stage, make sure you catch Lolo and Taylor Acorn. If you're bouncing around, definitely catch 408. They're blowing up on TikTok right now. Boy Band is another one. Holy Wars is really great. Free Throw's not like new, but they're like getting to that point of like really breaking out, and so a lot of fans might not necessarily know about them yet. Personally, I manage a band called Slow Pulse that is playing on Sunday. They're very heavy. They have an amazing female singer. Definitely check them out if that's your thing. And then I think the one that's going to steal the show is Jaleel on the rap stage.
Jaleel.
Jaleel, yeah. Woke up and I'm sick of it all. I'ma start a riot.
Mostly emo, but I mean, he's very like emo influenced and like likes all these bands and everything. So it's a spectacle. I mean, he rips off his shirt, he does backflips, like he's crazy.
I would be terrified if I was in the crowd and saw Jaleel headed toward me in a crowd surfing predicament, because that man
just throws people off the stage and like they go crowd surfing.
I saw him deadlift a guy, and I thought that was hysterical. But I really enjoyed Jaleel. It's time to play something for our sponsor, JP Boudreaux, the roofing specialist over at VE Roofing Vincent Enterprises. JP's a hardworking guy, and he also enjoys the harder rock. With that being said, we're going to play something a little heavier for JP over at VE Roofing.
What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Diddy?
And the SoWhat Music Fest on next weekend in Dallas, Texas. We're here with Mike Ziemer. Mike, are there any other heavier bands that people should check out? Maybe at the Hot and Heavy stage or something like that?
Definitely check out Slaughter to Prevail, Fit for an Autopsy, Body Snatcher. Omerta is really cool. They cross over a lot. The Browning. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of local talent on there too. Just if you like heavy stuff, just park at the Hot and Heavy stage all day long, or switch between that and the Hot Topic stage, whatever your preference is. We got plenty.
And one of the artists performing on the main stage of SoWhat Music Fest this week actually performed at Mike's wedding not too long ago. Hellogoodbye. Mike, how did that happen? That sounds like such a special occurrence.
I actually grew up in Huntington Beach, where Forrest is from and where Hellogoodbye started, and I'm kind of like had loose ties to them for years. Not really Forrest, but like the members of his band. And as we started doing our own emo nights and booking bands like Hellogoodbye, we ended up becoming friends, and we've had him out for a bunch of events. He did my birthday party last August for this Heat Waves event. We had him for Emo Night, and I was like, hey, you know, like it'd be really cool if you played my wedding. And like didn't think if you would do it or not. He's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like we should definitely do that. And I was like, okay, cool. And like it just became this like thing where I'm older than my wife, and I didn't know if her friends would really know Hellogoodbye. And as soon as he went up there and started performing, like it was a secret from them too, and they all freaked out. And it just turned into this like dance party, like the best vibe ever. And then it went viral on TikTok. And he created a TikTok just for the sake of like being like, hey, I'm Forrest from Hellogoodbye. Contact me if you want me to play your wedding. And like, I guess he's been asked to do some other ones since then. But it was really special and really cool that we had him there. So shout out Forrest. If you're at SoWhat, come see Hellogoodbye. They're incredible. He also just toured with the Rocket Summer.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you single-handedly inspired Forrest to re-record a special wedding version of Here in Your Arms. We had him on the show a couple weeks back, and he specifically mentioned a wedding. He didn't reference you specifically, but he said he was asked to do a wedding not too long ago, and it inspired him to do a stripped down wedding version of the song, and he sent it to me, and we have it.
I didn't even know he did that.
Yeah, dude, isn't that awesome? You fucking inspired that shit. That's cool. Planet Radio 106.7. Thank you for listening to this week's show. I'm Hunter deBlanc, playing all your favorite emo and pop punk stuff Saturday nights right here, 7 p.m. I want to thank Mike Ziemer once again for being our guest, our cowboy.
Yeehaw.
Once again, in true Texas fashion right there, right on the money. We're going to be giving away 2 tickets to SoWhat Music Fest right after this show. All you have to do is share this video, the video that we'll be posting on our Instagram pages. Tag Third String Productions and tag SoWhat Music Festival. Mike, is there anything you want to tell newcomers who may have not been to the festival before?
If you're planning on coming out, start drinking water right now. It's going to be hot. Bring extra money for merch and just get prepared to have the best weekend ever, because one of the things I noticed on social media is the amount of times people come to this festival. They're like, I don't care who's playing. This is my 10th year going. This is my 7th year going. I met my wife at this festival. I met my best friend. Like, the community around this is amazing, and you're going to feel it. You're going to love it. You're going to have a great time. And we have plenty of after parties, pre-parties, night events, kickoff parties, everything you could think of to keep you busy starting on Thursday. So come out, have the best time of your life, and thank Hunter later for having me on here and letting me know.
SoWhat Music Festival in Dallas, Texas, June 24th and 25th at the Fair Park grounds. This is Planet Radio 106.7.